Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a daily tarot oracle reading, Tattletales from Tales from the Vector. This is general or collective, so parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you and just leave the rest. This is also a timely reading, so if you are watching it at this time, it's perfect timing for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That might give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right, we do have the Page of Cups as the underlying energy for this reading. The Page of Cups is talking about information or communication coming in about love. So this sometimes can represent romantic love, but it also can represent love of anyone or anything, and even something you love to do or something you love to be. The pages would work for the king and queens very early in life, around 7 to 14, depending on how mature they were. And their main job would be to deliver communication, information within the palace walls. And if they were, good at what they were doing, they would be given more and more responsibility. And by the time they were 21, they could possibly even become a knight. But the energy here is significant, the time frame that, this is saying the information could be coming from a time when you were in elementary school, high school, just about to start college or university, or just breaking into the working force, maybe apprenticing for someone. It could be information coming in about that time frame, or it could be information about people that you knew from back then. So this could, of course, include family, but also people that you went to school with, that you first worked with or apprenticed with, that type of energy. It also can go back to the past, someone that you haven't seen for 7 years, 14 years, 21 years. Hi, Stella. And this energy is talking about that could give you some clue as to the time frame of what this information is about, or the person. Now, this page is looking at this fish. He's very focused on it. He understands there's plenty of fish in the sea, but he is focused on this one. So this is saying someone has their eye on you, or you have your eye on someone. And we do have the Hermit. The Hermit in the regular tarot would climb the mountain after a dark night of the soul, and when the light in his lantern turned into was full of the North Star light, showing his destined path, it would light up his rod, and he would come down from the mountain and know what to do. And so in my oracle here, this is Tales from the Vector, and it's courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. We have the dragon Peish, and he has baby angel guardian with him, and she's from First Nations, and this is actually in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Instead of the light and in the lantern, we have the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. If you've ever had the pleasure of being able to see that in the prairies in Canada, particularly around Winnipeg, Manitoba, you can really see the Aurora Borealis, and it's a beautiful swirl of colors. It's incredible against the snow, and especially if you're in a wide open place, it's really, really beautiful to witness. And this is also talking about the totem pole is actually from a different time and space. This is from Japan, and it's the three monkeys. Hear no ego, see no ego, speak no ego. So Feish is a truth seeker, and he's his angel has a lot of work trying to keep up to him, because he loves to go into the darkest of places and seek the truth. He's totally fearless, as most baby dragons are. And then we have, to begin the reading, we have the energy of the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is representing the pentacle energy is health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D. This can be talking about, a big part of happiness in the 3D is money. And, we need money to be able to have a good life in the third dimension. But you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle you want. So this is about your lifestyle. And this is a sort of an energy of juggling, possibly having to juggle money or juggle two lifestyles. It could be, juggling your home life and your work life, your public image with your at-home image. This energy could be talking about working really hard and playing really hard and, your needs and your family's needs. And like, it's that type of energy. It's also can talk about multitasking at a high level. And, it starts off small and there's a small ship on this wave and then it gets bigger and bigger. So gaining momentum. So sometimes we end up getting busy just to be busy. We don't even we become busier and busier and busier. We never get, it just keeps gaining momentum. So this is saying be careful of how busy you do get, because how are you going to enjoy your lifestyle then? And, sometimes we end up with more quantity than quality work, and then you end up having to do things twice over or miss things, and it just defeats the purpose. Also, this is talking about, juggling your options, but never juggling your morals. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles is an energy of, this is how much time, money, and energy are you willing to invest in any given project, person, whatever it is that you're working on, and what do you anticipate the return to be? And is it living up to that? It's talking about this person has put 6 pentacles of energy into a project, and he's only gotten 1 pentacle back. And this is really bothering him because he's used to being much more successful than this. And he's wondering, why is this not working for me? Like, I don't get it. Like, I've been doing what I do and I have my systems in place, and yet 1 pentacle after putting this 6 pentacles of energy. And in context, there's only 10 pentacles in the tarot. So 7 of pentacles would be like, 700K. So it's like not a small amount of time, money, energy, and effort. And sometimes though, this card can come up that you did only put 1 pentacle of energy and you had this huge success, and you're looking at it, but it just falls flat. It's like, you just this doesn't thrill me anymore. I used to be so excited if I, could have a return like this. And now it's just kind of like, something's missing. It doesn't do it for me anymore. And so this is talking about being in a, just wanting change in your life. And quite often it can be around your career, or it could be like maybe you just reached the pinnacle of of success in whatever you are working on, and you just are bored now. Like, there's no challenge to it. It's not exciting. It's just like every day you do the same thing. And so this is talking about maybe wanting a change if it's not about having worked on something and not getting the return that you're used to getting. And then we have this energy of cutthroat energy coming in your life here. So this is coming from outside. So this could be an energy of almost both, like saying, that you're not as successful as you used to be because you're tired of the cutthroat energy. It could be that type of energy as well. It looks here like you fought 2 people off already. They've laid down their swords, and you're just kind of like, if there's any other takers, because I'll take you on. And I'm fighting for what is mine here, and I'm not backing down. And they also have a risk it all attitude. But on some level, I feel like in the past, you haven't fought back quite this hard, and they're kind of surprised by it, and they've laid down their swords and we're like, dude, it's all yours. Like they weren't expecting you to put up this much of a fight. And so this sometimes the outer conflict can cause a lot of inner conflict. And this can talk about having inner conflict in your mind. And so sometimes this card can be representing 3 versions of your mind. And this is talking about your subconscious mind that's formed by the time you're 6 or 7. And that is, heavily imprinted on us well into our adulthood. And, really it's the thoughts of the people that were raising us, the environment that they provide for us. Pretty much it decides our culture, our religion, the food we eat, how your parents approach life in general, how they approach business, how they, just everything about your life is heavily imprinted by their thoughts and the environment they provide. And it's not always the most reliable mind, but it's the first one that pops up when we get into conflict. And then we have the unconscious mind, which is your spiritual needs. And, a lot of people will say, I'm a human being with a soul. But from the soul's perspective, you're a soul traveling in a human body. And so this is just a vehicle for to get your spiritual needs done on earth. And we also have the conscious mind, which is you've got a handle on it. And this is, you have total clear recall of what happened here and memory of it. And you can relate it back and tell the story to anyone. These two guys jumped me, and I cleaned their clocks, and there was some waiting in the bush there, but then they all ran off, that type of energy. And but the conflict, the inner conflict between the subconscious and the unconscious and the conscious mind happens when the unconscious mind's soul needs are not being met, and it causes all this friction. So the best way to deal with this energy is through meditation and prayer, and train the mind to be quiet and to work together. And that is the energy here is about the inner conflict. If you can calm that down, then you don't tend to attract as much outer conflict. Outer conflict does cause inner conflict, of course. So it can be a real vicious cycle that you can get into. You don't have control over the people that come towards you in this energy, but you do have control over whether you let them rent space in your head for free. And then we have this energy of a solid foundation for a new start. And that's what I feel like this energy is about. It's kind of like wanting to maybe start somewhere else or do something different or move somewhere, some sort of energy, maybe starting on a new project. So this is talking about having a strong foundation to be able to do that, to have a strong base to make a big change in your life if that's what you want. This is considered the kind of the official in tarot, the official marriage card. And so it can represent romantic, like a new romantic beginning. You might, it could be the energy of maybe you're tired of just working to gain material and, financial stability. And you feel like you have enough now that you could expand and maybe, find that special someone and raise a family. So sometimes it can be talking about that type of energy as well. Bottom line is it's saying like, you do have the down payment for your castle, but now you have to make the payments still. And if, the question has been popped, both people have said yes, and the wedding is going to happen, but then you're going to still have to always pour energy into the relationship for it to be the fulfilling relationship that you want. And so you might be wanting, because here, this card here is also talking, it could be talking about these 6 pentacles here. And it's kind of interesting because we have these 6 here, and then we have you working on 6 here and working on the last 2 or the first 2, depending on how you look at it. And that could be juggling these 2 things, like having this, but wanting to do, something else. It's that type of feeling. So this is the only card in tarot where the person's literally, this is about being focused on making money. So this could answer the thing that you're tired of focusing the most part of your life on making money. You're tired of going to work and then coming home and then doing the same thing and then, the same routine and, just building this up. But it's starting to feel like a battle within you almost, I feel like. So let's see what else is going on here. Okay, so it does look like there could be some sort of heartache here, and some, maybe a need for some forgiveness. The swords do represent the energy of, the element of air, and it's your thoughts, basically. And so sometimes this can be about a difficult decision needs to be made. I'm almost getting a feeling like you're tired of, maybe this could represent someone who's tired of being, in this typical energy of, you get married, you work, and you come home, and you do what you have to do, and then you get up and you do it again. It's really feeling that energy. And it also, like, sometimes this energy can represent, a third party energy coming between a couple. When you see the swords in the heart, you think, whoa, how is anyone going to ever heal from that? But when you look at it again, you realize the heart is quite big compared to the swords. So it's something that you can recover from, but you're going to have to put some energy into it. And the heart's in their throat. And sometimes this can also talk about, like someone who just can't speak their truth. You can't, it's too much of a decision to make. I'm almost getting the impression of someone that wants to get divorced or separated or something, and you're just juggling that energy and trying to fight that, like the fight within yourself. Do you still want to be a couple, or do you want to be solo? Haven't ever seen it quite like this, but that's what it just feels like. And this can also represent, with this card and this card, and the hermit energy, like one just isolating. But this can represent that there's something fishy in your love life, or that something stinks in your love life. So like if you leave a fish out of water too long, it's going to start to smell. And it might be talking about not being so busy working and doing what you need to do that you've forgotten how to be in a good relationship with your spouse or your partner, or even with yourself possibly. And so this can be talking about harsh words being spoken. It can talk about gossip, slander, perjury. It's the energy of not being able to speak the truth, and sometimes of a very difficult, heartbreaking decision that needs to be made. We have the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords quite often can represent an authority figure, and quite often this is lawyer energy. And the King of Swords is most likely to be someone who is divorced, of all the four kings. And, like in the background, there's two birds here, but he's sitting alone. And so the King of Swords quite often can represent like lawyer energy, the judicial system, that type of prosecutors, and it can represent judges and the court system, chief of police energy. And if this is a lawyer, most likely one that's higher up, that's a partner in an established firm. But if this is representing your energy and you're not in that type of field of work, it could represent a divorce lawyer being involved. And we do have here then the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is the most traditional of all the queens. This would definitely represent someone who would be most likely in a traditional marriage. And I don't know, it's almost like this energy of wanting to get a divorce or separate, but at the same time, not wanting to have to, divide assets, that you've worked so hard for. Like, it's like not wanting to have to give up the lifestyle, but not wanting to stay in the relationship at the same time. There could be a third party energy involved here. So this is talking about, like the Queen, she would represent, a maternal figure. This is like, this could be the mother of your children. It could be, you could be a mother. This could represent your mother down your grandmother, great-grandmother, down the maternal bloodline. It also can represent aunts and sisters and female cousins type energy. But like this is someone that, the Queen of Cups is normally someone that, she's the most traditional of all the queens. Like this would be almost like trad wife energy these days. Back, when people, it was common for people to only have to need one income and be able to purchase a house and everything else. This would represent a lot of the women would be stay-at-home wives. And their main function would be, their main number one purpose would be to look after the home. And that's this type of energy. It's she's got her trophy, her cup is her trophy, and it's big. Like this is her main first priority. And she's got a lid on her cup, and this is saying that she's a container of unconditional love. So it may be that you maybe care for this person still, but you don't want to be married anymore, or not want to be with them in particular anymore. And it's a very difficult decision to make, because you're going to really hurt them. And I'm just getting, they don't really deserve it, but it's just you're not. There's it could be that there's a lot of arguing, This is usually sibling rivalry, but this could also represent that there's a lot of friction in the home. So this could, this is the only card in the tarot where there's adolescents fighting, and but the energy is also saying that it could be like, this is the type of energy. It's like a battlefield in the home. You come home and the kids are crying and yelling and fighting, and things are just a big schmozzle where you need, when you have to phone one of those shows and get a nanny to come into your home and straighten your kids out for you. That's the energy I'm picking up. It's like, man, it's like you're feeling like there's nowhere to go almost to get peace in your life right now. That's the energy I'm picking up. It's kind of a weird energy, but it is. And look at this. There's sabotage here. So this can be talking and it's not self-sabotage, because no one can reach back and do this to themselves. This is more like sabotage coming from without. It's this cutthroat energy again. So what is this, all this conflict that's coming into your life? Definitely, this could be going on for a decade or more. This is talking about, the swords. This is talking about, that this cutthroat energy trying to keep you down. This is being stabbed in the back and being left for unalive, and then being, just laying there, and you don't even want to get up anymore. It's kind of like, man, all I do is work, and then I come home and there's all this fighting and everything, and it's almost like you're being out. This inner conflict is also causing a lot of outer conflict. I have a lot of. Do you hear that revving? Wow, that's someone being really, really loud outside. That's the energy we're talking about. Thank you for displaying that so perfectly. My cat was on my lap. She's got happy feet and she's purring and she's freaking out, what the heck? Someone's being really loud out there, aren't they? She said, oh my gosh, it was scary. So this is talking about the light at the end of the tunnel. This is talking about a calculated effort to take you down into and be in this position though. And so this can be talking about one person 10 times, or it could be talking about 10 different people or 10 groups of people. But this is a calculated energy to take you down, keep you down, so that, I don't know, there's quite a bit of money here, but it's at the same time, there's something more going on here. What's all this energy here, about this, if there's pentacles missing and there's morals being juggled here, and there's also this third-party energy, something stinky, there's a lot going on here, in the home and out of the home, it seems. But there's a reward here for you for staying on, continuing to do your best to keep it working. It's almost like, how sometimes, if you've ever been in a situation where you're in a relationship where it is really a volatile relationship, and you feel more alone when you're in the relationship than when you're alone. Like when the person's around you, you feel more lonely than when they're not around you. It's that type of energy of just, like that type of energy. So, but this is saying there's a reward for you doing your best to make the best of this situation. But there's, it's, definitely something's going to give here. That's for sure. And this is sitting right on this energy about keeping your cool and getting back up every time that you get knocked down. But I feel like this is talking about this time you really stood up and fought for yourself. And I feel like the people were totally shocked. They were like, whoa, we've never seen them get back up and fight like this. So there could be a reward coming in. This is a reward for following your North Star energy and staying on your path of glory and being in that energy. And it's an ace, so it's new energy coming in. That's much better, of course. And this is the promise of a really good lifestyle. And then we have, look at the King of Pentacles energy. So it's like this is coming to an end somehow, this energy. The King of Pentacles, I'm getting that you are, whoever you are very good at business. And like that you tackle projects quite often that are very challenging that other people can tackle, and you tackle them and you come out of it, ahead, whether it's a big or a small. Like here you are right away working on another project after finishing this one. This one was disappointing, but this one now you're like, okay, I'm focused and I'm ready to go again. So it is talking about being in this energy of being admired for your business acumen, and also the grapes all over the robe of the King of Pentacles is talking about having grapes are a luxury item, and so it's talking about someone that is able to produce grapes, that you're admired for that ability to provide a really good lifestyle here. And it's also talking about this is the energy of bankers and wealth management and financial advisors. If it's a banker, that would be someone that would be a manager at least, or it would be a partner in a prestigious firm. If it's an accountant or wealth advisors, insurance sales, that type of energy. Also, it can be, you might be a really have your own company and be a really, really good entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. It can also definitely have to do with real estate, and that's what this reward is. This is something that could be like an inheritance coming in, or one of your investments paying off big time, or way more than you thought it would, or like that type of energy. And this is saying this can also represent real estate for sure. If it's real estate agents, it would be someone that's working with more high-end property. This could be agriculture. It could represent the energy of even someone like really high up in the government that's in charge of the financial budget, or some energy similar to that. It's talking about being respected for being able to do good business, basically. And we have the Nine of Swords. These two quite often come together. At the beginning of the year, they were coming up a lot because we left back in 2025. 2 + 2 + 5 is a 9 year. So we weren't just ending in 2025. We weren't just ending a cycle of 1 year moving into the next year. We were actually moving 1 decade into a new decade, basically. And so a lot of these two were coming out together quite a bit. And this is like talking about the never-ending nightmare ending. And like this energy, the 9 card is then ending, and the 10 card is about, it breaks down to a 1, is talking about an ending and a new beginning. And the hand is in the form of a blessing. So sometimes this can be a total blessing in disguise, that you stayed away from these people, that you were kept separate from these people, that you didn't get involved in their business. I feel like it's going to be beneficial for you now. Quite often, rejection is God's protection. So if there was a lot of people kind of coming at you this way in whatever line of work you're in, and it's been like this constantly, and you just feel like, whoa, and it could even be going on like, it could, you might be in a family business in some way. So it could be some sort of energy of that, coming through. And sometimes this can represent that you're in someone's will. So, with this energy, this could go way back to when you were a child, that this energy has been going on for. But you're done with it. Like you're not playing nice anymore. You're not going along with it. You're like, no. And you may have been doing a lot of praying. And it's really interesting because this can represent someone who wakes up from a never-ending nightmare and they can't sleep because they're so afraid and, anxious and in some real negative energy. But sometimes this can also represent having been in that energy because of this, and like just waking up because you had a dream. And it's really interesting because I was looking into this, because that quite often does happen around, in the wee hours of the morning, like between 1 and 4 in the morning. And some people believe this to be that 3 o'clock is the devil's hour. They say that's the opposite time of when Jesus was on the cross, and that it's to mock Jesus. And other people believe that, because especially if you wake up at 3:33, that's a number of Jesus. So, I guess it depends on which way you look at it, but it's not uncommon for people to wake up in the wee hours. I guess it would depend on who are you praying to, And so if you're praying to the Most High, this is going to be consistent steps of action to get out of this energy. And, it's also talking about this quilt here. And it's interesting because I had this on my mind and I looked this up. I was like, why do some people say that that's a witching hour? And other people say that it's the Holy Spirit. And I guess it just boils right down to, are you praying to the Most High? Or who are you praying to? That's basically the energy. And so this is, who are you asking for advice, and this quilt has cosmic symbols on it, representing that the universe does have you covered. But what I find interesting here is, a while back I noticed that there's people fighting with swords carved into this bed frame. And so if you are experiencing this kind of energy, like at night, and it's not the kind that you want, then, because a lot of times people will have dreams, and in their dreams they'll be shown steps. It is a very spiritual hour. I feel it just depends on who you're interacting with. But the energy here is talking about, this fighting energy. If you're sleeping, I'm sure you probably don't have a bed frame with people jousting, carved into your bed. But sometimes, like in feng shui, they'll tell you not to put anything under your bed. Keep that air flowing. But that's not always practical for people that live in smaller spaces. So, if you have anything under your bed, check what you have under your bed. Like sometimes we'll put like photos in boxes, and there might be photos you don't want to throw out, but they're photos that are not give you a warm, cozy feeling. So you didn't know what to do with them. So you put them in a box and then shoved it under your bed. And sleeping on that every night can cause, this energy. Best case scenario is that your place where you sleep, your bedroom, is kept there's not a lot of clutter in it at all, and that the air, like everything can move freely through it. That's when you're most likely to get a good sleep. That's just a side note here, but you may notice a big difference. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune here, and the Wheel of Fortune is talking about the past, the present, and the future coming together in synchronicity at this moment. And it's like all three coming together. And on this is actually three wheels turning. This is saying your fortune is changing. Some real good energy is coming your way. It's sitting right on this reward. I feel that you're communing with God for sure here. And this is this energy here, this cutthroat energy. You notice that that's underneath here too. I feel like this is saying that you're covered from this energy, that you know, that this situation is coming to an end. The three wheels coming together, on one of the wheels are the Hebrew letters of the name of God, which is tetragrammaton. And this is a sacred geometric symbol where it's talking about equalization of all forces and divine order. And so this is saying that, you know, you've been on, you're going to be rewarded for being on your path. You know, like on being the best version of yourself that you can be. That's our purpose, is to add more beauty to the world rather than take from it, you know. And I feel like there's been a lot of energy, maybe since you were a child, and you know, and it's saying this cycle is coming to an end after this dark night of the soul. And then we have a passion for you know, like this is like optimism coming in again. You're going to feel optimistic again. Now here we have another page. So this can be another energy of someone from way back when. This could even be your energy of how you were when you started out and feeling really optimistic. And the Page of Wands is the element of fire, and it's talking about you know, wood fuels the fire, and having this passion and passionate action. And the thing about the Page of Wands is he's got a feather in his cap. He's like, the pyramids in the background are like, hey, I want to see the wonders of the world, and I want to explore the world, and excited about waking up in the morning and like, wow, I wonder what's going to happen today, instead of, oh, I wonder what's going to happen today. And so this is getting back to this optimistic energy. The thing that you need to know about the Page of Wands is that he really admires his wands. So you have to double check his energy. Sometimes he's overly optimistic and overly passionate. He thinks with his little head a lot. And this could be a female energy as well as a male energy, a female or a male in their masculine energy. But it's an optimism for life again, and having passion to get up and do what you love to do and not be in this energy. So we do have juggling going on here of morals possibly, and of just life in general, I feel. And a lot of friction in your life, if coming from inner conflict, outer conflict. The Wheel of Fortune, though, is turning in your favor, and you're going to be optimistic again, as hard as that may be believed for you right now. We have the never-ending nightmare that you've been caught in since you were a child is coming to an end. This is talking about coming into this rewarding energy where you're recognized finally for being able to really provide, you know, for yourself and for your family, a really good lifestyle. Throughout the years, despite all this friction coming towards you, and a heartbreaking decision that you maybe have made to, and you're working now on this new project here. And this feels like it's a real strong foundation for moving forward. So something is shifting in the air here. I'm going to clarify this with my oracle cards, because it's telling a lot about what's going on, but it's not giving us a lot of information about, you know, what do we need to do to make this happen faster. I have it's really interesting. I have this turquoise. This is actually from China, or no, it's not. It's I think Morenci from Arizona. This turquoise, and it is to improve learning of languages. So maybe you're planning to move somewhere and are studying a new language or something like that. Or you're just trying to understand the language of love better. That could be. So the oracle cards are from my oracle here. The numbers are on these cards represent the paintings in my gallery. On my website, talesfromthevector.com. And I'll put them in the order they show up here in case you want to take a look at what's going on here. Sometimes a painting can say it all. I'll make sure I have the information below. So this is talking about, disruption in your life. And it's almost, see, this energy I'm picking up is almost like a bunch of people in that coming together and think it's funny or something. It's a game for them to see, like to poke the bear. I don't really understand it really. It's like it's a calculated energy, and I don't know, it's almost like you get like you're at a point where you are just you just got like you got full of it. You're done. You're just done with this energy. You're not in the mood for it anymore. And they're kind of like, whoa, can't take a joke kind of energy. But it's no joke when this many people are doing everything to irritate you. It's really weird energy. And we have dissension. This is like with friends like this, who needs enemies? Like you're swimming with sharks. It's almost like I keep getting that energy poking the bear, and I don't really understand what this is about. It's almost like this third party energy isn't even necessarily like to do with romance. It's just about if you have something good happen, they don't notice it. Like, like you could do something really amazing and someone else in your family could do something unamazing and everybody will be all over it. But you do something really amazing and they're like, so whatever. They don't even mention it. It's that type of energy. It's really like... I'm trying to find the right words for it, but I can't find it. It's just like a heavy energy. The Emperor energy here is all about high-level performance. And I feel like a lot of people, having gone through this with their family members and that, or the people that you're in business with, or whatever this is about, that you would be, like the Emperor is very high-level performance. And so even though all of this has been happening to you, you've been... or this is the attitude, you've managed to stay on your destined path, and that's why this reward is coming in. And it's talking about like the more that this happened, the more successful you became. You could just do one project after another. Like this one didn't turn out so well, or it did. I feel like every project you do turns out. But then you move on to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. And because of that, you've learned so much. You're now, like the Emperor encompasses the energy of all four of the kings from the minor arcana in one person. And this was supposed to take you down, and actually what it's done is it's made you like an Emperor energy. Like you're like almost like unstoppable now. Like you've been knocked down so many times, you just get back up and you get back to it. It's really interesting like that. I don't know why though. That's what I don't understand, because it seems to be going on since you were a child. And like this can just talk about like being raised in a family that's like that. But it's weird energy. So the surrender is, the psychic energy coming in. That's like, who are you praying to? And maybe who's your family praying to? Maybe you're on totally different spectrums here, and that's part of the problem. And we have, look at this, the Empress and the Emperor. Isn't that interesting? That the Empress comes out here, and it's on this energy here. Like it's almost like you're married to someone that from the start, it was just meant to put you in this energy. And that there's like a lot of people involved. It's almost like that energy. I feel like this was the promise, and then this is the heartache that came from it, and something stinky going on in your love life. So I'm not quite sure what this is about, but it feels like there's been a rogue Empress out there. So let's keep going and see here. We do have a degradation. Yeah, wanting to put shame on you and degrade your energy. What is this on? Wanting this reward. Almost making a mockery of someone's kindness. That's the energy I'm picking up. Like they want you to fight, but then when you do fight, they're shocked. Like, because like, wow, okay, you didn't have to get that upset. It's that type of energy. If you fight, you're a loser. And if you win the fight, you're still a loser. It's that kind of energy. No matter what you do, they'll find fault in it. That's the energy I'm picking up. And we have the Leo energy here. So this is about having confidence. Leo energy is when you're a natural born leader. And it's just talking about this conflict, like Leo takes a bit more time, like the fire signs take a little more time to mature. So that energy, they're natural born leaders. So what they can't make up with in confidence, quite often they'll come off as being arrogant without even really meaning to be sometimes. So it could be some sort of that energy is that, when other people maybe that have been knocked down like this, and this is maybe something that they do, might be how they earn their living. And, other people stay down and you keep getting back up like one of those whack-a-moles or something, that type of energy. So when the horoscope signs come in my readings, I just want you to understand that I'm not picking on an individual or trying to identify an individual. I'm talking about the energy of each of the signs, because this is about being a leader. I feel like you're a natural born leader, and they're trying to make you feel like you're not. And they want you to stay down. It's that type of energy. So I'm not, if you might say, no, Colette, there's a Leo involved, or I'm a Leo, that could be very much so. But I'm just telling you that's not the goal of my reading, to identify anyone. It's more to learn from each of the signs. And then we have the High Priestess. So this is saying really use your intuition at this time. We did have that full moon, and the energy still is there of this full moon, and it was pretty edgy, this full moon. And so this is talking, and the High Priestess follows those cycles of the full moon and the new moon to be able to use her intuition at a high level. And I feel like that's why you keep being able to get up. And then we have perception. So there could be someone in your life that felt the grass was greener on the other side, and they ended up, has come up in other readings, that your Empress took off with someone else. Now remember, the Empress could be male in their feminine energy, and the Emperor could be a female in their masculine. So don't let that confuse you. But it's almost like someone feels like you're only like that they're better. Like it's almost like you've been delegated as being less than the other people in this inner circle. And you could be doing all the work, you could be doing a really good job, and they're still not going to recognize it. But this is saying that energy is over, and that you are going to be recognized for whatever it is. A major transition coming here. So, because I can see here, it's like on the edge here of like happening. So the transition, we have a lot. This card is about transition. 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 So there's a lot of energy going that way. And I feel like you've already separated yourself a lot from this energy, and you're ready to move on, and maybe are in the process of moving on. But I feel like something's going to happen, and it'll be really obvious. Like you'll know it when it does, and you'll just know, oh, there, it's over. Like you might not even have anything to do with any of these people at this time, but their thoughts are still being directed this way for some reason. I don't know why. It doesn't really even make sense. Like this reading doesn't make sense to me. But sometimes, when I feel that way, other people will let me know, no, it made perfect sense to me. So we'll put it out there. I'm kind of tired right now, so it might not be the best reading. It could just be that. Or maybe it'll come to me. I'm gonna sit on it for a while before I give this a title. so that maybe we can come to some resolution here. In any case, I do hope this has benefited you. Give it a like and comment if you want, and I do appreciate them very much, and your subscribes. I'll be back with another reading for you again tomorrow. Bye for now.